Hey everybody, welcome to Eureka Math / Engage New York Math. I'm Mr. Quick, and today we're going to look into Module 1, Lesson 6, Solving Problems by Finding Equivalent Ratios. Part 2. I added the Part 2. In Lesson 5, we looked at solving problems by finding equivalent ratios. The reason we're looking at it again is we're actually going to go a little bit farther. In some problems, you have a ratio that will change. It will change within the problem. So this is the same thing we did last time, but taking it a step farther. Let's look at some examples. All right, let's read example 1 here. This is from Eureka Math. Great minds. Okay, the Business Direct Hotel caters to people who travel for different types of business trips. On Saturday night, there is not a lot of business travel. So the ratio of the number of occupied rooms, which means rooms that have been rented out, to the number of unoccupied rooms, or empty rooms, is 2 to 5. However, on Sunday night, the ratio of the number of occupied rooms to the number of unoccupied rooms is 6 to 1 due to the number of business people attending a large conference in the area. If the Business Direct Hotel has 432 occupied rooms on Sunday night, how many unoccupied rooms does it have on Saturday night? Whew, that is a lot to unpack. That almost sounds like a riddle. There's so many different, if it has this many rooms occupied on Sunday, how many are empty on Saturday? It sounds like a riddle, and in a way it is, but really it's a word problem, and we have all the information that we need to be able to solve that problem. Okay, so let's take a quick look into it. First thing I want to do, I want to look at Saturday night. First thing. We don't need to worry about Sunday yet. We will, but not yet. So it says the ratio of the number of occupied to unoccupied. So we're going to say occupied to unoccupied. Those are my shorthand for those. Is 2 to 5. So the first number is 2, and the first thing that was mentioned was occupied. So the occupied is 2, unoccupied is 5, meaning there's a lot more rooms that are empty than not empty. So before I even worry about Sunday, I don't need to worry about Sunday yet. The first thing I want to do is I want to look at and create a tape diagram for Saturday's rooms. Let's do that. Okay, I have created this tape diagram. Occupied is 2, unoccupied is 5, and we know that each part of the whole of each tape diagram is the same. So you'll note that the first 2 for occupied and the first 2 for unoccupied, they line up perfectly because they are the same size. Okay, so now let's look at Sunday. Okay, it says, however, on Sunday night, the ratio of the number of occupied rooms comes first to the number of unoccupied rooms, so same order as before, is 6 to 1 because they're a lot busier, right? So now I have my Sunday information, I have my Saturday information, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create a different tape diagram for Sunday night because Saturday and Sunday night, they're 2 different nights. I'm going to create 2 different tape diagrams. Okay, now that I've done that, you see, again, 6 occupied rooms. So I created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots on my occupied tape diagram. 1 unoccupied room, so I created 1 spot. You'll also notice that, again, it lines up perfectly because each box is the same amount. It's the same size. Now we've got to look at what information we actually have. We don't have all the information, but we do have some information. We've created all of our tape diagrams. We're ready to move on. We've got Saturday over here, Sunday over here. Okay, it says if the Business District Hotel has 432 occupied rooms on Sunday night, how many unoccupied rooms does it have on Saturday night? Well, that only gives us one piece of information, but it does give us enough, all we need. So occupied rooms on Sunday night. So I'm going to look at Sunday night, and I'm going to look at occupied rooms. I know that this tape diagram represents 432, right? Because if all of those rooms are occupied, and there are 432 occupied rooms, then that tape diagram represents 432. One other thing I want to point out real quick, I just want to show you this. If you look at Sunday night, We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks of our 2 tape diagrams. If you look at Saturday night, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks of our combined occupied and unoccupied tape diagrams. The hotel doesn't change in one day. The number of rooms is the same Saturday or Sunday. Now, there might be more people who are occupying those rooms and who have rented out those rooms, but the number of rooms doesn't change, and that's important. Okay, here's why that's important. If each of these boxes represent the same number, then if we can find out how much just one box is, we can find out how much all of the boxes is, and we can answer our question. So we know we have 432 of those rooms that are taken up, and now we need to divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 432 divided by 6. Okay, let's solve that problem. We'll do it on a different slide here so we can see it a little bit easier. I know 6 does not go into 4, but 6 does go into 43. 6 times 7 is 42. Subtract. We get 43 minus 42. We get 1. Bring down the 2. 6 goes into 12. 2 times 6 is 12. I subtract. I have 0. No remainder. So that means 72. Well, what does that mean for our problem? I'll tell you exactly what it means. Each of our blocks, or our boxes, or however you want to say it, each part of the whole represents 72. And guess what? If each box represents 72 on Sunday night, then guess what? 72 for each of the boxes on Saturday night, because it's the same hotel, right? So now we know how much all of those add up to. We haven't done the math yet, but we can figure that out. Now we just need to say, what are they asking us? And here's what they're asking us. How many unoccupied rooms does it have on Saturday night? So I'm looking at Saturday night. I'm looking at unoccupied. That's going to be my answer right there. I need to take 72 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this should give us our total. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus 1, 36. We have 360 unoccupied rooms. Normally I would spell that out. I don't have a lot of space. But our answer is 360 unoccupied rooms. That's a lot of work. It's not a lot of hard work, but I'm encouraging you to go slow. Slow is fast, right? If you're going too fast, you're going to make mistakes. If you go slow and really think about what we're doing, we're just trying to find out how much one of these boxes represents. If we can figure that out, we know what every box represents, and then we can do some simple math and get the answers. All right, let's do one more example. Okay, let's take a look at the second question here. Peter is trying to work out by completing sit-ups and push-ups in order to gain muscle mass. Originally, Peter was completing 5 sit-ups for every 3 push-ups, but then he injured his shoulder. After the injury, Peter completed the same number of repetitions as he did before his injury, but he completed 7 sit-ups for every 1 push-up. During a training session after his injury, Peter completed 8 push-ups. How many push-ups was Peter completing before his injury? Okay, same deal. We're going to look at the important information here. We have a but then, and then we have an after, right? So we kind of have like a before or pre-injury, and then we have an after the injury, right? And before the injury, it looks like we had 5 sit-ups. I'll just put SU for sit-ups for every 3 push-ups. We'll just put a P for push-ups. Sup. All right. After, we'll put an S for sit-ups. He was doing, where is that information? Oh, 7 sit-ups for every 1 push-up. So we have our information, and here's what I'm going to do. Same thing. I'm splitting this kind of down the middle, and I'm going to look at before the injury, the pre-injury, and I'm going to create my tape diagram, which is really going to help me solve this problem. Okay, so you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sit-ups to every 1, 2, 3 push-ups. On the other side, now I'm going to go ahead and make my after the injury tape diagram. Okay, so again, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equal parts for our sit-ups and 1 equal part for our push-ups. Going back to the problem, during a training session after the injury, right? That's the key piece of information there, after the injury. So we're going to look on the after side. Peter completed 8 push-ups. So we know that this box represents 8. If we know that this box is 8, we know that every single box on both sides, pre and post injury, represent 8, because all the boxes are the same. Every part of the whole of the tape diagram is the same. So it wants to know, the question is, how many push-ups, so we're looking at push-ups, was he completing before the injury? So we're going back on the before side. We're looking for push-ups. Well, how many did he complete? We have 3 boxes of 8. That's 3 times 3. Sorry, my iPad's being goofy. 3 times 8. That gives us 24 push-ups. Peter was completing 24 push-ups before his injury. Okay, I hope that you see that these are the same kind of problems we've looked at already, but we have to kind of use these clue words, right? But then he injured his shoulder after the injury, and instead of creating just one set of tape diagrams, we create a before and an after set of tape diagrams. Or if it's on different days, we create a Saturday and a Sunday tape diagram. Same kind of problems, we just break it up. All right, looking forward to talking about this in class. Thank you for watching.